Hey YouTube, it's Noah from Brandon Branch Expeditions, coming back after a year. It has been so long since I've come back on this channel. Really good though, I have a lot of updates. So while it has taken me like eons to come on YouTube again, I have started a Substack, and I have lots of thoughts on Substack, lots of notes I made, maybe a couple articles. So I do have some material to go off of that I could choose to upload onto this channel right here in YouTube. So that's very, very good. I want to say a very, very important update. Ever since I did the introduction to this channel, I think I have grown a good bit on a couple of the things I touched on in my intro. So let's get that out of the way, because I want my brothers and sisters to know all of what's could happen on here. So first thing I touched on was no debates. Was one of my big no-nos. And I want to clarify what I meant by that. Because, I do believe having good formal discussions with brothers who disagree with you is very good. But the way that social media has done debates is a huge no-no for me. So, I want to mention a brother. He's been wanting to collab with me for quite a while. Some of you may know TFL Ministries. So that is ran from my brother in Yeshua, and he and I have become really close friends and have sharpened each other, especially when it came to the aspects of the debate world. There is a way to say you disagree and to have a conversation about that without quarreling and without a lot of the negative methods you see on social media. And I believe it has a lot to do with preparedness, number one. Because, the way debates have been seeming to be prepared is, maybe talk the day beforehand, schedule something, and then, boom, suddenly you're on a stage with a different dude you probably never met in person before, maybe met on one or two Zooms and decide, oh, I want to debate this guy. And the next thing you know, the debate goes haywire. And I think there should be more preparedness in the model of discussion that we use. Because it's always good to be challenged on your viewpoint and to take a different angle for what it's worth and using discernment. But at the same time, we don't want any odium theologicum or rivalry in between theologians. And that happens, like, during a debate, maybe you have this theologian over here. Both of them are cool with each other, and so they're much more forbearing in their discussion than somebody with a more controversial view will come and debate another theologian, and they start to have a little less forbearance, and the line of patience starts to grow thinner, and what ends up happening sometimes is people get accused of dishonesty without really being dishonest. Like you can see two intellectually honest people who, have been debating with the same level of honesty, but it's a way that the communication is misread. So I want to clarify that I love formal discussions, but there's a line that is crossed. And honestly, some topics go so deep and become such core fundamentals that they become really hard to debate on. And one of my biggest things here in Brandon Branch Expeditions is not robbing people of their journeys. So, definitely want to steer clear of doing that. And I want to be transparent with my own struggles and note what I may need some more practice to touch on. So that is one thing. Another thing is politics. So I'm still shy from them. And, I'm not big on, talking on political sides, what I believe about politics. That's not what this channel's for. It's more about the faith. Although, one thing that has been pointed out more is, this faith is really very, very just countercultural to the politics of this world. And it's just a whole different system. It's Yah's politics. And so whenever we have a situation where preparedness comes about, which that might be more for my other channel, First Responder Torah Toolshed, when that comes about, I'll have the faith as a priority when it comes to the stance I take. Because really it boils down to posture. It doesn't boil down to labels and models that man makes. And so that is an understanding that I want to meticulously place down here ever since I did the intro. So that is a couple updates. I wanted to also give you an update about the second channel, which is First Responder Torah Toolshed. And I have been wondering about the scopes of the channels for a while, and I'm glad I gave myself time to wait. Because the approach is starting to form clearer. So over in First Responder Torah Toolshed, I want to touch on more preparedness and application aspects of the mental process of our faith, and, the lifeblood of the faith that our spiritual amnesia can hide so well. In this one, I want to go down into deeper academic research about different thoughts like peacemaking, going deep into the core mental fundamentals and really what makes up the walk, the chemistry of the walk, and why I have chosen this direction of faith. So that is something I want to touch on here. This channel will become a lot more research-oriented, a lot deeper. But First Responder Torah Toolshed is no less important, of course. I believe both are really good for grounding someone deep into the faith, to study really well, to sharpen discernment, and to remember the lifeblood of what we're discussing, and remember to prepare always for the situations at hand. I believe in a model that maximizes discipleship. That's why I touch on all the things I do today in my updates. To really give a sense of accountability in preparing carefully for each video and for each topic I bring forth. And, to really drive the point home of, what servitude takes and what going into the Word looks like for this particular channel. And I want to be clear, this is not, any knowledge trip or anything like that. I believe in advocating a model that goes much deeper than knowledge, that overall points out the Shalom, the completeness, superseding understanding. And that is what I want to point out here. Because the mission is very, very plain, making disciples. And in that, I want to really touch on the idea of walking together and walking through the process of everything. And I want to be transparent, and I want to be humble and all these things. So, yeah, that's all the updates I have for this channel. I am excited. I also want to be very, very careful in everything I say and do. And yeah, expect more uploads here shortly. Shalom, and see you until next time. Have a good day, week, however long it takes until my next upload. Thank you for bearing me, guys. See you in another video.